Chapter 956. Extraordinary talents. When those people heard Yin Chujiu's words, they immediately burst into laughter. They were really cowardly. They were frightened by the heavenly lightning until their legs went soft. Ha ha. Feng Ming and the other two were very angry in their hearts. However, when they saw that Yin Chujiu's expression was still indifferent and was not affected by these sneers, the three of them also calmed down and continued to meditate with their eyes closed. "Hey, let me ask you, did anything strange happen?" asked a girl in red. There was indeed something strange. Some demon beasts were fighting with each other, and it was hard to see them from afar. It seemed that a group of demon wolves and a group of demon tigers were fighting until the sky was dark. Later, the lightning kept striking, and they all dispersed. DC. One look, and you can tell that they are country bumpkins who have never seen the world. Demon wolves and demon tigers? Those are wild desert wolves and wild desert tigers. I don't know where these 4 country bumpkins came from. A man said with disdain. Oh, so it's wild desert wolves and wild desert tigers. I didn't know. Thank you for your advice. Yin Chujiu thanked him indifferently. That person never expected that Yin Chujiu would not only not be angry, but also thank him. He was stunned for a moment and then muttered, "You're crazy." The girl in red and one of the men in white said, "Senior Liu, it seems that there are indeed natural treasures there. Otherwise, those wild desert wolves and wild desert tigers would not fight so fiercely for them. There is no need for us to go in. Those wild desert wolves and wild desert tigers are of a much higher level than us. If we meet them, I'm afraid we will be doomed." Junior sister Su Lian, what you said makes sense. Since there's no need to go in, let's go back. You should hurry up and prepare for the entrance test. Yes, junior sister Su Lian, there's no suspense at all about you passing the entrance test. With your talent and senior sister Yin Xinlian's care, you'll definitely be in the top 100 of the roll of prodigies in the future. Watch your tongue. Junior sister Su Lian is so outstanding, why would she need senior sister Yin Xinlian's help? That's right. Our junior sister Su Lian is only 19 years old, but she's already at the 5th layer of the spirit sect. With such outstanding talent, not to mention the top 100 of the roll of prodigies, it's even possible for her to be in the top 10. The red-dressed girl's face was full of pride, but she concealed it and said, Seniors, you're flattering me. How can my talent be considered outstanding? Only those like His Excellency and young Master Wuji are called outstanding talents." Yin Chujiu was sensitive enough to detect a hint of shyness in the girl's words. Damn it. Little bitch, it's fine if you covet Wu Ji's head, but if you dare to have plans to go after my Prince Charming, I won't let you off. How dare you snatch my man? I'll torture you to death. His Excellency and young Master Wuji are not people our generation can compare to. I heard that when they were studying at Tianyuan Academy, the total points of the two of them added together was more than the total points of the others. What? The two of them entered the academy at the age of 14. Normally, they would need 5 years to graduate, but the two of them graduated in just 3 years. Moreover, up until now, many records have been maintained by the two of them. Our headmaster said that these two people are geniuses that appear once in 10,000 years. Yes, we can only look up to such people. However, you girls are still better off. At least you can still marry them. We don't even have the chance to become their subordinates. Their subordinates are all secret guards who have been trained since they were young. Upon hearing the man's words, the few girls were all bashful, especially the girl in red. Her face was flushed red as she stamped her feet and said, Senior, what nonsense are you talking about? Chapter 957. Vigour City. Yin Chujiu almost vomited. Damn it. She even pretended to be shy, how shameless. Feng Ming and the other two felt a little cold for some reason. The three of them looked at each other and saw that Yin Chujiu's face was as calm as water. It was obvious that she was unhappy. The three of them suddenly realized that they were jealous. This person's jealousy was really infectious. He was a perfect match for that young Master D. Those people chatted and laughed for a while before leaving. Although Yin Chujiu did not like them, she was relieved. If they fought, it would be really troublesome. The four of them were done resting. They happened to come across the route those people from earlier had used and successfully left the grassland. The moment they saw the main road, tears filled their eyes. Fuck. It was not easy. They almost died right after ascending. The voice transmission talisman in Yin Chujiu's storage ring started to vibrate. Both Infeng's and Di Baiming's voice transmission talismans were going off repeatedly. The two of them must have been frantic. Yin Chujiu decided to inform Infeng when she found out the exact location of this place. Thus, she first replied to Di Baiming, "Prince Charming, the four of us have been teleported to the Flaming Desert. We have already left that place behind. Our current location is unknown. I will tell you later when I find out more." Very soon Di Baiming's voice transmission talisman started to vibrate. After Yin Chujiu sent her divine sense in, she heard Di Baiming say a single word, "Okay." Yin Chujiu pouted. This guy was still the same. Did he not know how to say a few more words? Although there were not many people on the road, there were still quite a number of them in the city. Yin Chujiu took a rough look, and found that some had lower spiritual power than her, and the other three. However, they were either young or looked like they were poor. Those who wore slightly decent clothes had higher spiritual power than the four of them. Yin Chujiu analyzed the words of those people before. Those people praised that person called Su Lian. She was considered a genius at the 5th level of the spirit sect at the age of 19. Based on this deduction, a normal 19-year-old should be around the 3rd level of the spirit sect. She was not too useless, however. Senior brother Feng Ming and the other two were all in their early 20s. In that way, they were already behind. Yin Chujiu saw a kind-looking old man, and quickly ran over to ask for directions with a smile. "Old uncle, may I ask how to get to the nearest town?" The old man saw that Yin Chujiu had a good attitude and she was still a little girl, so he patiently pointed the way. It turned out that there was a Vigour city less than 30 miles away from here, and it was less than 20 miles away from the Tianyuan Academy. Many people who came to participate in the entrance exam would stay in Vigour City for a while. After Yin Chujiu thanked the old man, she returned to Feng Ming and the other two, and said with a smile, "It's a coincidence. The Tianyuan Academy is not far ahead." Yin Chujiu repeated what the old man said, and Feng Ming and the other two were also very excited. However, a worried expression immediately appeared on their faces. "Junior sister Little Jiu, we are so weak now, and the Tianyuan Academy is also the best in the Tianyuan continent. I'm afraid that we won't be able to get in." Yin Chujiu blinked her eyes. "Don't try to make others look bad on us. There will always be a way when we reach the end of the road. Don't worry, with me around, we will be able to get in." For some reason, Feng Ming thought back to the time when Yin Chujiu had insisted on taking the 6 places in the Spirit Radiance sect. His heart relaxed. Junior sister Little Jiu was full of schemes. She might really be able to get in. Chapter 958. Long Wind-In. Let's go to stay in Vigour City and have a good rest. I'll send a message to Infeng and ask him to help us ask about the registration and entrance test, Yin Chujiu said with a smile. Feng Ming and the other two saw Yin Chujiu smile and felt relieved. They nodded and followed the old man's direction to Vigour City. Yin Chujiu briefly explained the situation to Infeng. Infeng quickly sent a letter over. "Miss Jiu, your subordinate will be able to arrive at Vigour City by tonight. You guys head towards the Long Wind-In in Vigour City. That is the esteemed lord's property. I have already made the necessary arrangements. When you arrive there, shopkeeper Qi will arrange for your accommodation." Yin Chujiu was very satisfied with Infeng's efficiency. No wonder the pretty boy was so stingy with his words. It turned out that he was used to having such sensible subordinates. When could she have such reliable subordinates? It would be a relief knowing such people could take care of things for you so well. An hour later, the four of them saw a magnificent city. On the city gate, there were 2 large and powerful words, Vigour City. Yin Chujiu found it somewhat familiar. Why did it feel like the handwriting of the Prince Charming? The 4 of them followed the flow of people into the city. After asking around, they found out that the Long Wind-In was the largest in Vigour City. It was located in the center of Vigour City, and it had an eye-catching appearance. However, a random passerby reminded them, it is currently the Tianyuan Academy's entrance examination season, so all the inns in Vigour City are full. The Long Winden is a symbol of one's status, and it has already been booked up long ago. I'm afraid that all of you will have wasted your time going there. That person still had one more thing to say. With your looks, it was obvious that you're not from a wealthy background. How could you possibly afford to stay at the Long Winden? Chujiu pretended not to hear that. After thanking them, she brought Feng Ming and the other two to the Long Winden. The Long Winden was indeed very easy to find. Chujiu and the other two quickly saw a three-story inn. With just one look, they could tell that it was much better than the surrounding buildings. Chujiu felt that this style was very suitable for the palace mistress. Could it be that this was the palace mistress' handiwork? Chujiu and the other three had just walked to the entrance of Long Winden when they met the same people they met at the edge of the desert. One of the men sneered and said, "Country bumpkins, don't tell me you want to stay in Long Winden? Tihei, you overestimate yourselves. Do you know how many spirit stones a night the cheapest room in Long Winden costs?" Chujiu did not seem to hear the disdain in his words and asked indifferently, "How many spirit stones a night?" The man curled his lips. "Even the cheapest room costs 10 high-grade spirit stones for a night. Can you afford it?" "Oh." Chujiu lifted her leg and walked inside. "Oh. What did O mean?" The man stretched out his arm and blocked Chujiu's path. "What was that about? Do you have any spirit stones? Moreover, the rooms inside are all booked up now. Even if you have money or status, you can't book a room." "That's right. Do you think that anyone can stay in this Long Winden? This is the property of the Hall of Longevity. Those who have no status or face are not qualified to stay here." Chujiu secretly cursed in her heart. This Long Winden was indeed in the style of the palace mistress. It only caters to people with status. Senior Brother Pai, perhaps they don't have any money on them. They are preparing to do odd jobs here. This little girl is pretty good at serving tea and pouring water for the guests. Get out of the way and let them in. A young man glanced at Chujiu's face with ill intentions. Although this little girl's figure had not grown, her skin and facial features were very exquisite. Chapter 959. Violent beating. Chujiu shot a glance at the man who spoke. "Very good, I will remember you. Let's meet at Tianyuan Academy and see how I will deal with you when the time comes." Following the man's words, the other people also started to jeer. At this moment, the red-clothed girl walked out. Although her clothes were still red, it was obvious that she had changed into another set. When she saw Chujiu and the others, she curled her lips. Then she said to the waiter behind her, "Since when can anyone enter the Long Winden? I remember that the palace mistress had said at the banquet that those who could enter the Long Winden were either outstanding or influential figures. Could it be that the rules have changed now?" When the waiter heard the girl in red's words, he nodded and said humbly, "Miss Su Lian's words make sense. I'll drive these 4 people out right now. Not everyone can enter our Long Winden." After the waiter finished speaking, when he arrived in front of Chujiu and the others, his expression immediately changed. "Our Long Winden is already full. There's an inn with 100 low-grade spirit stones for one room in the north of the city. You'd better head over there. Leave quickly and don't disrupt our business. It's fine if we don't go in. Call your shopkeeper out. We have matters to discuss with him." Chujiu was so angry that she was amused. "I do not have anything else right now, but I do have plenty of spirit stones. Buying this Long Winden would be easy." She was always despised by a shop's assistants. She had been used to it for a long time. "Tch, our shopkeeper is busy with work every day. How would he have the time to see you poor people? Hurry up and scram, or else don't blame me for taking action." The waiter had always suffered the wrath of the customers. Finally, he had someone to vent his anger on. His words became more and more hostile. Chujiu smiled and waved at the waiter. "Come here. I have something to talk to you about." The waiter thought that Chujiu was going to bribe him with spirit stones, so he walked up to Chujiu and asked, "What's the matter?" As soon as he said the matter, Chujiu kicked the waiter's lower abdomen. The waiter was caught off guard, so he was kicked by Chujiu and fell on the stairs. Everyone was stunned. No one had expected that this little girl would make a move at the slightest disagreement. Did she know what she had just done? As the saying goes, One had to look at the owner before beating up a dog. This long wind-in was the property of the Hall of Longevity. The guests who usually stayed here were either rich or noble, but they would only verbally scold these waiters. No one dared to make a move, for fear of offending the Hall of Longevity. Moreover, that waiter was on the second level of the spirit sect, and this little girl was only on the first level of the spirit sect. How could he be kicked down? This waiter was too useless. The waiter was dumbfounded for a long time before he finally got up. He never dreamed that he would be beaten up by someone. And it was a piece of trash whose spiritual power was inferior to his. Stinky girl, you dared to hit me. You don't want to live in the Tianyuan continent anymore, do you? The waiter's face looked ferocious as he gnashed his teeth and said, "Humph. I'm hitting a snobbish person like you. The inn is a place that welcomes guests from all over. What right do you have to speak ill of us?" Chujiu said coldly, "You bitch. All right, you're the one who attacked first. Don't say that I'm bullying trash like you." After saying that, the waiter raised his hand and was about to slap Chujiu. Chujiu dodged the waiter's palm. She then turned around and appeared behind the man. She kicked the man's back and the man flew toward the stall selling roasted spirit potatoes across the street. The man was scalded until he cried out in pain. Chapter 960. The daughter of an old friend. When the crowd saw that the waiter was in such a sorry state, they did not think that Chujiu's skills were extraordinary. They only felt that this waiter was too stupid to be fooled by a little girl at the first level of the spirit sect. The waiter flew into a rage out of humiliation. With a wave of his hand, hundreds of wind blades flew towards Chujiu. Chujiu nimbly dodged them, then stretched her neck and shouted, "Long Wind-in is bullying people on the street. Long Wind-in is looking down on people. Long Wind-in is bullying the weak." The corners of Feng Ming and the other two's eyes twitched violently. "Junior sister little Jiu, you seem to be slandering the property of your future in-laws. Is this good?" Chujiu did not care about that. She stretched her neck and kept shouting. Soon many people came over to watch. The waiter became even angrier from the humiliation. He had sent out countless wind blades, yet he could not even touch the corner of that smelly girl's clothes. How was this possible? At this moment, an angry shout came from inside the inn. "Lucky! Stop!" Chujiu curled her lips. How could such a person be called lucky? It was more appropriate to call her the lucky one. When the waiter heard the voice, he stopped reluctantly. He glared at Chujiu fiercely. "Shopkeeper, this little girl not only delayed our business, but also hurt people. You must help me make a decision. Miss Sulian, you must help me prove it." The red-dressed girl looked at Chujiu with disdain. Then she said, "That's right. The palace mistress once said that not everyone can stay in this long wind-in. Lucky only chased her away after listening to my instructions. I didn't expect that she would hurt someone. She really lacks manners." Chujiu's eyes darkened. She didn't care about anything else, but to say that she lacked manners was to indirectly insult her parents and her elders. That Su Lian was courting death. Chujiu took a few steps forward. The red-dressed girl was stunned by Chujiu's aura, and could not help but take a few steps back. "Miss, please hold your tongue. You don't have the right to comment on whether I have a good or bad upbringing. If you have the leisure to do so, why don't you take care of yourself? If you say something hurtful so casually, I wonder how your upbringing was?" Chujiu stared into the red-dressed girl's eyes. She said coldly. The red-dressed girl felt a chill run down her spine. This girl only had the spiritual power of the first level of the spirit sect, but the coldness in her eyes made people feel as if she could kill her at any time. The red-dressed girl was stunned for a while, and then she shouted angrily out of embarrassment. "How dare you? Do you know who you are talking to? You better believe that I can kill you immediately." "I am not your father. Why would I know who you are? Kill me? Just because you scolded me and I refuted you, you want to kill me? Although I don't know which sect you are from. To act so arrogantly is an embarrassment to your family." Chujiu had never been a good-tempered person. She even dared to rebuke the palace mistress, so a red-dressed girl who appeared out of nowhere was nothing to her. The red-clothed girl had never been rebuked like this in her entire life. She was so angry that she nearly fainted. She stretched out her hand and was about to launch a spirit energy attack. At this moment, a deep voice said, Miss Su Lian, this ninth young miss is the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend. Please, for the sake of the palace mistress, let this matter go. The red-clothed girl had never imagined that the manager of the Long Wind Inn would say such a thing. The daughter of the palace mistress' old friend? How could this poor trash be the daughter of the palace mistress' friend? Chapter 961. The straightforward Yin Chujiu, the red-dressed girl, naturally did not dare to embarrass the palace mistress. She snorted coldly and said, Shopkeeper Chi, if that's the case, then I won't lower myself to her level. If there's a next time, humph. The red-dressed girl glared fiercely at Yin Chujiu before leaving under the escort of the crowd. The waiter was dumbfounded. He knew that not only had he been beaten up for nothing, he had also lost his job. Sure enough, Shopkeeper Chi looked at him. Go to the accounting room to settle your wages. You are fired. The waiter did not dare to say a word. He slipped into the room to collect his wages and then left. Shopkeeper Chi bowed in neither servile nor overbearing manner. Ninth miss, the three young masters, please come in. Yin Chujiu nodded. Thank you. The four followed Shopkeeper Chi into the Long Wind Inn. The interior decoration was very luxurious. Shopkeeper Chi brought the four of them to a room in the backyard. After getting someone to serve them tea, he said, Ninth miss, Commander and Feng sent me a message an hour ago. I also reported to the palace mistress. Your identity was also made up by the palace mistress. Yin Chujiu pursed her lips in her heart. This old man kept referring to me, yet he did not mention me as his subordinate. He even specially told her to report to the palace mistress. An identity made up by the palace mistress? This was telling her that he worked for the palace mistress. Shopkeeper Chi, regardless of whether you are Brother Biming's man or the palace mistress man, you are still a member of the Hall of Longevity. A fellow like Lucky from before is really TSK, lowering the reputation of the Long Wind Inn. Yin Chujiu said with a smile. Shopkeeper Chi had never thought that Yin Chujiu would lay things out like that immediately. All the girls he met had to think twice before speaking a single sentence. How could she be so straightforward? For a moment he was a little stunned. What? Shopkeeper Chi doesn't agree with me? Yin Chujiu asked faintly when she saw Shopkeeper Chi's stunned expression. Shopkeeper Chi finally regained his senses. Ninth miss is right. That kind of worker is indeed useless. He should have been fired a long time ago. It seems that you agree with my way of doing things. Report what happened today to the palace mistress truthfully. Then tell her that the reward for me should be decided first. Give it to me together with the red packet when we meet next time. Shopkeeper Chi's face was filled with confusion and bewilderment. I heard that the palace mistress seemed to dislike this ninth young miss in the voice transmission talisman today. Why did it sound like this ninth young miss had a good relationship with the palace mistress? Otherwise, why would she still talk about rewards and red packets? Forget it. No matter what, this ninth young miss was also the beloved one of His Excellency. It was better not to offend her. Ninth miss, Commander and Feng will be here tonight. I will bring the four of you to the upper room to rest first. Shopkeeper Chi arranged for the four of them to be escorted to the four upper rooms before leaving. Yin Chujiu entered her room and looked around. The room was decorated lavishly. What surprised her the most was that each room was equipped with an isolation array and a protective array. The guests only needed to fill it with spirit stones to activate it. It was very convenient. After Yin Chujiu washed up, she fell asleep on the bed. She slept until the sun went down before she left the room. Shopkeeper Chi saw Yin Chujiu come out and quickly went forward to inform her. Miss Jiu, Commander and Feng is here. Please come with me. Yin Chujiu called Feng Ming and the other two to follow Shopkeeper Chi into a room. And Feng was already waiting there. And Feng respectfully bowed to Yin Chujiu. After Yin Chujiu sat down, and Feng did not sit down but stood up to say his piece. Chapter 962. Junior sister Little Jiu, wake up. Shopkeeper Chi was very surprised. Commander and Feng, who could be said to be the most respected person in the Hall of Longevity apart from a few masters. How could he be so respectful to this little girl? Moreover, There was a bit of fear within the deference. How was this possible? This little girl was only at the first level of the spirit sect. Commander Infeng was an expert at the level of a spirit paragon. How could he be afraid of a little trash like her? Ninth Miss, in half a month, Tianyuan Academy will begin to recruit students. Anyone between the ages of 14 and 25 can take the entrance exam. The entrance exam is different every year, but it usually consists of 3 rounds of tests. Only those who pass the test will be eligible to enter the academy. The tuition fee of Tianyuan Academy is not cheap, 10,000 upper-grade spirit stones per person per year. However, if you can get into the top 10 of the entrance exam, not only will you be exempted from the tuition fee, you will also be rewarded with a different amount of points. Infeng told Yin Chujiu everything he knew. Yin Chujiu nodded. Half a month was enough time to make some preparations. Infeng, help me do one thing. Help me calculate the contents of the entrance examination for the past 10 years. It would be even better if you can calculate the contents for the past 20 years. Also, prepare a copy of the details and preferences of the principal and teachers of Tianyuan Academy for me. Infeng knew that Yin Chujiu was full of ideas, so he did not question her instructions. He immediately arranged for people to gather the requested materials. It was a piece of cake for the secret guards of the Hall of Longevity to do these things. In just 2 days, the materials that Yin Chujiu wanted were all prepared. Moreover, they had even completed an additional task, gathering the current information of the students of Tianyuan Academy. Yin Chujiu's heart was filled with envy. Since when did her Thunder sect have such power? No wonder the pretty boy looked so flustered. He was indeed awesome. Yin Chujiu went into seclusion and studied in her room for a few days. Then, she spent the rest of her days strolling around in Vigour City. The news that Yin Chujiu was the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend had already spread. Therefore, even though everyone despised her for having low spiritual power, with such a title, no one dared to make things difficult for her. Yin Chujiu thought to herself, the palace mistress is not too bad. No matter what, she acts as her protector, her umbrella. Cough cough, next time, I should extort fewer spirit stones from her. Yin Chujiu bought a bunch of scattered items. Feng Ming and the other 2 did not understand why, but they did not ask either. Anyway, junior sister little Jiu would not spend money recklessly. It was probably something useful. The 3 of them were worried about one thing, and that was the tuition fee. 10,000 high-grade spirit stones were equivalent to 100 million low-grade spirit stones. They only had tens of millions of low-grade spirit stones on them. It was simply not enough. After Yin Chujiu noticed their concerns, she said with a smile, "Senior brothers, you don't have to worry about that. When the time comes, we'll make it into the top 10. Won't the tuition fee be waived? Besides, I have plenty of money now. 10,000 high-grade spirit stones is a small matter. Prince Charming's mother has already given me 200,000 high-grade spirit stones. It's enough for us to last until we graduate." Feng Ming and the other 2 automatically ignored Yin Chujiu's previous words. The top 10? Junior sister little Jiu, wake up. Forget about the top 10. If we can get into the top 10 with the results, we'll be lucky. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye, and the day for the registration of the Tianyuan Academy had arrived. Early in the morning, Yin Chujiu and the other 3 cheerfully headed towards the registration area of the Tianyuan Academy. The registration area was right in front of the Tianyuan Academy square, and when Yin Chujiu and the other 3 arrived, tens of thousands of people had already gathered. Chapter 963. The reputation of the Azure Mystic Continent. The square was filled with a hubbub of voices. Yin Chujiu swept her gaze across the crowd. None of them were weaker than them in terms of spiritual power. When the crowd saw the 4 of them throwing looks of disdain at them, they could not believe that such trash would still want to apply for the Tianyuan Academy. It was wishful thinking. Yin Chujiu and the other 3 stood at the back of the line, waiting for their turn to register. Although many people came to register, there were dozens of people who were in charge of registering, so things still proceeded smoothly. 2 hours later, it was Yin Chujiu's turn. The person in charge of registering glanced at Yin Chujiu and curled his lips. "Are you sure you want to register?" Yin Chujiu cursed in her heart. "Fuck, you're being biased. Why didn't you ask those people who signed up before? Why was she the only one being questioned? Why couldn't she sign up just because her spiritual power was low? Although she cursed in her heart, she didn't show it on her face. She responded calmly, "Yes, I want to sign up." Fill out this form. The registration fee is 10 high-grade spiritual stones. The person attending to Chujiu said in his heart, this kind of person was the source of free income for our Tianyuan Academy. It would be strange if such a person could pass the exam. Chujiu filled out the form and handed it to the man who was in charge of the registration. The man glanced at it and then cried out strangely, "Origin Azure Mystic Continent? You ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent?" Chujiu nodded. "That's right. No wonder you're so weak. Our Tianyuan Academy has never recruited students from Azure Mystic Continent because the people of the Azure Mystic Continent are too weak. Those who ascended from the Azure Mystic Continent are already several hundred years old." The man's tone was filled with deep disdain and the arrogance typical of a person from the Tianyuan continent. "Teacher, don't be so absolute. We will find out what happens in the future," Chujiu said lightly. The man was stunned. He did not expect Chujiu to dare to speak out. He sneered. "We will find out in the future? Fellow student, I am not trying to discourage you. With your talent, it is simply wishful thinking for you to enter the Tianyuan Academy. I advise you to give up on this idea." The people behind him also mocked her. "That's right, a good-for-nothing from the first level of the spirit sect still wants to enter the Tianyuan Academy. It's simply like a toad trying to eat swan meat. I heard that the people of the Azure Mystic Continent are all poor. 10 high-grade spirit stones is not a small amount. It's better to keep them for food, or else they won't be able to live on. Tisk. With their weak state, do you think they can establish a foothold in our Tianyuan continent? I reckon they can only do some hard work. That little girl is not bad-looking. It should be all right to go to the Itsue Tower to find a job," a triangular-eyed man said with a lecherous look. As soon as he finished his sentence, he was slapped twice on his face. The triangular-eyed man was stunned by the slap. After a while, he realized that it was the little girl named Chujiu who hit him. He was immediately enraged. "Stupid girl. What right do you have to hit me? You are courting death. I will sell you to the pimps right now." Chujiu looked at him coldly. Then, she suddenly jumped forward and slapped the triangular-eyed man several times. Then, she took out a large kitchen knife and placed it on the man's neck. "Shut your stupid mouth, or I will make you mute forever." The crowd never expected Chujiu to actually start beating him up at the slightest disagreement. This was the registration venue of the Tianyuan Academy. Where did she get such courage from? Also, that man should be at the 3rd level of the spirit sect. How could he be beaten up so easily by that little girl? Chapter 964. Also from the Een family, the triangular-eyed man shouted, "Little girl, if you dare to touch me, my father will not forgive you." "Your father? So you haven't weaned at this age? You still want to ask your father for help? Who is your father?" Chujiu gently cut the man's neck with the kitchen knife, and a trickle of blood began to flow. The man was in so much pain that he cried like a ghost and howled like a wolf. "My father is Een Qingba of the Een family, and the head of the Een family is my uncle. If you dare to touch me, the Een family will not forgive you." "Oh, so it's the Een family," Chujiu said slowly. "Humph. You no fear now, right? Quickly let me go and kowtow to me as an apology. I might be in a good mood and take you in as a concubine, and you'll soar to the sky in one step," the triangular-eyed man said proudly. Chujiu smiled coldly. She took the large kitchen knife and cut a large cross on the man's face. The man was in so much pain that it was as if he was killing a pig. "Stupid girl, you're courting death. My father won't forgive you. You always end up mentioning your father. You're promising. Also, scum like you is an embarrassment to the Een family. I heard that the Een family is one of the most famous families in the Tianyuan continent. Is this how the family usually behaves? You insulted others and bullied the weak. I have learned a lot about the people of this continent today," said Chujiu disdainfully as she kicked the triangular-eyed man to the ground. "Stinky girl. You are dead meat. You. Just you wait, Our Yin family will not forgive you. The triangular-eyed man took a pill to stop the bleeding and replied fiercely. You will not forgive me? Do you know who I am? Yin Chujiu asked with a smile. Who are you? Aren't you just a piece of trash from the Tianyuan continent? The triangular-eyed man was dazzled by Yin Chujiu's smile. This stinky girl was really pretty. Fuck, I will definitely fuck you if I had the chance. I'm sorry, the palace mistress of the Hall of Longevity is my aunt. If you think that your Yin family is stronger than the Hall of Longevity, then feel free to try. Let's see if your Yin family can withstand the wrath of the Hall of Longevity. Yin Chujiu felt that this feeling of bullying others was fucking awesome. The old witch had done a good deed by giving her this identity. Some of the people who came to register whispered, that's right. A few days ago, this little girl argued with the second miss of the Yin clan at the entrance of the Long Wind Inn. Shopkeeper Chi personally said that this little girl is the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend, and has been staying in the Long Wind Inn for the past few days. No wonder this little girl is so arrogant. It turns out that she also has someone powerful behind her. Of course. If she wasn't so young, how could she have ascended? It must have been the palace mistress who secretly took care of her. What you said makes a lot of sense. I'm afraid that Yin Xueqing will fall this time. No matter how arrogant their Yin clan is, they wouldn't dare to go against the Hall of Longevity. However, if they don't dare to do it on the surface, it's hard to say in the dark. This little girl just offended the second miss of the Yin clan a few days ago, and now she has offended Yin Xueqing. If she really ends up entering the Tianyuan Academy, there will definitely be endless trouble. I think you're thinking too much. How can she possibly get into the Tianyuan Academy with her aptitude? The Tianyuan Academy has always had a reputation as a place for people with special status. Even the palace mistress has no way of interfering with the Tianyuan Academy's enrollment process. Upon hearing Yin Chujiu and the others' words, Yin Xueqing was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He naturally didn't dare to go against the palace mistress. Damned girl, for the sake of the palace mistress, let's forget about today's matter. If there's a next time, I'll punish you even if I have to risk offending the Hall of Longevity. Chapter 965. Truly an idiot. Even though Yin Xueqing said that he had already made up his mind, damned girl, if I have the chance, I will kill you. As long as I don't leave any evidence behind, the Hall of Longevity can't do anything to me. Besides, what weight can the daughter of an old friend have? I don't believe that the palace mistress will fall out with our Yin clan because of you. Oh right, they said that this stinky girl offended Su Lian? Su Lian, that girl was even more vengeful. He probably did not need to make a move, and this stinky girl would be in trouble. When the time came, he would come over and toy with her to death. Yin Chujiu glanced at those people who were gossiping among the crowd again. Those people felt a chill in their hearts for no reason, but it only lasted for a moment before it disappeared. They felt that it was most likely an illusion. How could a little girl at the first level of the spirit sect make them tremble in fear? Only then did Yin Chujiu return to the front of the registration platform. She glanced at the teacher and said, "Can I finish my registration now?" Although the teacher was not happy in his heart, he reluctantly handed over the Jade token and storage bag to Yin Chujiu given as part of the registration when he found out that this little girl had the support of the palace mistress. Feng Ming and the other two who were standing behind her took advantage of Yin Chujiu's presence. The teacher did not waste any more words and handed out the registration Jade token and storage bag after they filled in their forms. Just as Yin Chujiu and the other three were about to leave the square, they met the red dress girl and her group. Yin Xueqing saw that Yin Sulian had arrived and immediately went over. Sister Sulian, this Yin Chujiu has scratched my face. You have to help your brother. Yin Xueqing had his own little scheme in his heart. Sulian was the family head's biological daughter, so her status was naturally not something he could compare to. It would be best if she fought with Yin Chujiu, that wretched girl. When that time came, it would be a good thing for him if either of them suffered a loss. It would be best if Yin Qinghua was removed from the position of the family head. That way, his father would have a chance of becoming the family head. Yin Sulian saw the wound on Yin Zicheng's face and grew furious. Yin Chujiu, I warned you not to provoke me again. You actually hurt my cousin. You must give me an explanation today. Yin Chujiu shrugged. Yin Xueqing, didn't you say that this was over? Why are you going back on your words? Yin Xueqing rolled his triangular eyes. Yin Chujiu, I did say that, but just because I spared you doesn't mean that my sister Sulian won't take revenge for me. You dared to hurt me because you didn't give face to the Yin family. As the daughter of the family head, my sister Sulian will naturally help me deal with you. Yin Chujiu sneered in her heart. She did not expect that Yin Xueqing was that cunning. He actually knew how to use others to do his dirty work. That Yin Sulian was really stupid. She was used by others, yet she was still so strong. What an idiot. Yin Chujiu, what my cousin said makes sense. You are slapping the face of our Yin clan by hitting him. Kneel immediately and apologize to my cousin. Otherwise I won't forgive you. Yin Sulian was using what happened as an excuse to punish her. A few days ago, she was also humiliated by Yin Chujiu. She hated Yin Chujiu to death in her heart. Face. So your Yin clan's face is even bigger than the Hall of Longevities? The palace mistress once told me that in the Tianyuan continent, the Hall of Longevity's status was extraordinary. Does it seem that she is lying to me? When I meet Auntie, I will ask her properly. Since when did the Yin clan have so much face that they don't even respect the Hall of Longevity? Yin Chujiu said with a sneer. Yin Sulian curled her lips in disdain. Umph. Yin Chujiu, don't flatter yourself. You are the daughter of an old friend. What weight does that have? I don't believe that the palace mistress would do anything for you. Hurry up and apologize to my cousin. Chapter 966. You're so stupid, Yin Chujiu said indifferently. What if I don't apologize? Then I'll cut your face twice to prevent you from wearing that seductive face to bewitch others. Yin Sulian looked at Yin Chujiu's flawless white skin and said jealously. Yin Chujiu did not get angry but laughed instead. Damn, I didn't expect that my looks could cause even women in the Tianyuan continent to be jealous. It seemed that I was indeed a peerless beauty now. Little Black Bird was already too tired to comment. Please. You missed the point, okay? You should be worried that someone is going to cut your face, but you still have the time to admire yourself. That's enough. Yin Sulian saw the smile on Yin Chujiu's face, and thought that she was provoking her. She shouted angrily, all of you get out of the way. I will teach this bitch a good lesson today. The surrounding crowd did not dare to do anything that might offend Yin Sulian. Moreover, these bystanders enjoyed a spectacle, so they immediately made way for a large open space. Feng Ming and the other two shielded Yin Chujiu behind them and confronted Yin Sulian. Senior brother Feng Ming, the three of you just need to stand behind me and support me. I can handle her myself. Yin Chujiu recovered from her shock and said to Feng Ming and the other two. Only then did Feng Ming and the other two step back and look at Yin Chujiu worriedly. That Yin Sulian was at the 5th level of the spirit sect, which was 4 levels higher than junior sister Little Jiu. No matter how monstrous junior sister Little Jiu was, she could not defeat her. She would definitely be at a disadvantage, and they did not know if Enfeng was nearby to help. Shixian's heart skipped a beat. He said to Feng Ming and Gang Yi, "Oh, go to Long Winden to look for Enfeng. If Enfeng is not here, oh, call shopkeeper Chi over." Feng Ming and Gang Yi felt that that was the only way, so they nodded in agreement and instructed Shixian to return as soon as possible. Bitch, I'll give you one last chance. Otherwise I won't hold back, Yin Sulian said fiercely. BT*TSH? The Yin family's upbringing is indeed different from the rest. You keep calling others bitch. You're the real bitch. Yin Chujiu curled her lips and said. Yin Sulian was so angry that her face turned red. She formed a seal with both of her hands and hundreds of wind blades flew towards Yin Chujiu. Yin Chujiu leaped up to a height of more than 30 feet. She easily dodged Yin Sulian's attack and said with a smile. 5th level of the spirit sect? Did you take medicine to increase your spiritual power? You are too weak. Yin Chujiu was right. Although this Yin Sulian's aptitude was not bad, she was too lazy to cultivate. To be able to enter the Tianyuan Academy, she took a lot of pills to increase her spiritual power to the 5th level of the spirit sect. When Yin Sulian's secret was exposed by Yin Chujiu, She became even angrier and her attacks grew fiercer. Yin Chujiu only defended but did not attack. She dodged and dodged Yin Sulian's attack. While she dodged, she mocked. Yin Sulian, if I were you, I embarrass myself further. 5th level of the spirit sect? Such a weak spiritual power attack is not even as strong as someone at the 2nd level of the spirit sect. TSK, you still want to fight for justice for others? Do you have a brain? Being used by others, yet you still bravely charge into the battle. You're so stupid. You're an idiot. Even after being sold to slavers, you still help them count their money. Before you came, that Yin Shuecheng clearly said that he was going to overlook things, but after seeing you, he worked hard to sow discord. Why do you think he did that? Let me guess, perhaps Yin Zicheng's father is coveting the position of the head of your Yin family, so he's trying to sow discord between you and me. If you anger the Hall of Longevity, his father will use this opportunity to ascend to the throne. Yin Shuecheng almost fell to the ground. Fuck. Could this little girl read minds? Chapter 967. Do you not know what it means to respect the elderly? Yin Sulian heard Yin Chujiu's words and felt a little suspicious. When she saw the guilty look on Yin Zicheng's face, her heart was filled with hatred. Damn it! She had been used by him. However, this Yin Chujiu was really detestable. She had to teach her a lesson today. As long as she was not killed, the palace mistress would not do anything to her. Thinking of this, Yin Sulian angrily said, Yin Chujiu, there's no need for you to sow discord here. You hurt my cousin, so you have to apologize to him. Io, you're really stupid. I've told you the stakes, but you still don't know how to repent. You're too stupid to be saved. Yin Chujiu said with a smile as she dodged the wind blades. I've been holding back from this fight. I didn't lay a finger on you. If this gets out, will people say that you, Yin Sulian, are bullying others? Will people praise me for being open-minded and not fighting back when you're forcing me? The ways of the Hall of Longevity and the Yin family are very different. The spectators finally understood why Yin Chujiu had not fought back. It was actually for the reputation of the Hall of Longevity. Compared to the Yin family, their actions were too ostentatious. They did not have the foundations of an aristocratic family. They behaved just like the nouveau riche. When Yin Sulian heard the crowd's discussion, her eyes turned red with anger. She had never suffered such a loss since she was young. Today she had to kill Yin Chujiu. Seeing that the spiritual attack could not hurt Yin Chujiu, Yin Sulian gritted her teeth and took out a treasure sword from her storage ring. The crowd immediately cried out in surprise. This is the Yin family's heavenly Thunderbolt sword. It is said to be able to emit lightning like light with astonishing power. This is the Yin family's heirloom. No wonder it is said that Second Lady Yin is the most doted on by the Yin family's patriarch. Now that I see it, it is indeed so. She gave the heavenly Thunderbolt sword to Second Lady Yin. This time that little girl is finished. The heavenly Thunderbolt sword's power is astonishing. Although her movement technique is not bad, she can't avoid it. At that moment, a voice was heard shouting, Second Lady Yin, sheath that sword. Yin Sulian looked up and saw Shopkeeper Qi rushing over. Shopkeeper Qi felt uneasy and thought that if something happened to Yin Chujiu, he would probably be involved as well, so he decided to come and take a look. He happened to meet Shixian halfway and heard Shixian talk about what happened. Shopkeeper Qi's heart sank. He thought to himself, little girl, you really can cause trouble. How could you cause such a big mess just by registering? When Shopkeeper Qi rushed over, he saw Yin Sulian summoning the heavenly Thunderbolt sword. He was so frightened that his face turned pale. He quickly shouted and walked between Yin Chujiu and Yin Sulian, wanting to stop Yin Sulian. When Yin Sulian saw that it was Shopkeeper Qi, she was already blinded by anger. She said with a cold face, Shopkeeper Qi, I've already let you off a few days ago. This matter has nothing to do with you. Get lost, or don't blame me for turning hostile and hitting you by accident. Shopkeeper Qi was slightly displeased. Although he was only a shopkeeper, he was the palace mistress' trusted aide. He could also be considered as someone respected in the Hall of Longevity. To be scolded by Yin Sulian like this, he felt somewhat embarrassed. Yin Chujiu rolled her eyes. She could not contain her anger and said, "In Sulian, do you not know what it means to respect the elderly? Shopkeeper Qi is an old man from the Hall of Longevity. Even the commanders of the secret guards have to be polite when they see Shopkeeper Qi. Who do you think you are to talk to Shopkeeper Qi like that? Apologize to Shopkeeper Qi quickly, or I won't forgive you." Chapter 968. Someone as smart as me was born only once every millennium. When Shopkeeper Qi heard Yin Chujiu's words, his impression of Yin Chujiu immediately improved. He originally thought that this little girl had caused a mess, but now it seemed like the unreasonable Yin Sulian was the one who instigated things. She was too arrogant. Yin Chujiu glanced at Shopkeeper Qi and silently praised herself in her heart for being able to show off. Someone as smart as me was born only once every millennium. Shopkeeper Qi, why aren't you moving? I must kill this Yin Chujiu today. Yin Sulian heard Yin Chujiu's words, but when she saw Shopkeeper Qi's expression, she felt a little regretful. However, she gritted her teeth. Since she had already come this far, it was nothing if a servant of the Hall of Longevity scolded her. What else could he do to me? Second Lady Yin, I once told you that the 9th Miss is an old friend of the palace mistress' daughter. Are you going to make an enemy out of the Hall of Longevity? Yin Sulian snorted coldly. She's just an old friend's daughter. The palace mistress dotes on me the most. I don't believe that she will punish me for over such a good-for-nothing. Get out of my way. I must kill her today. Shopkeeper Qi sneered in his heart. Dotes on you the most? You are deluding yourself. With a fool like you, the palace mistress would only dote on you if she were blind. Shopkeeper Qi was about to continue trying to stop her when a cold voice berated, Sulian, don't be rude. Hurry up and apologize to Shopkeeper Qi. Otherwise, I'll send a message to father, asking you to come back next year to apply for the exam. As the voice rang out, a woman in white walked over. Everyone unconsciously made a path for her. Yin Chujiu also looked up and saw that the woman had a beautiful face and a cold temperament. There was an imperceptible cold arrogance between her brows. Sister, you don't know anything. A few days ago, this Yin Chujiu humiliated me at the entrance of Longwind Inn. Today she hurt cousin Xuecheng. I really can't stand it anymore. When Yin Sulian saw who it was, her eyes reddened and she was so aggrieved that she almost cried. Everyone began to whisper among themselves. It was the eldest daughter of the Yin family, Yin Xinlian. She was one of the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Not only was she beautiful, but her spiritual power was superb. She was also proficient in array formations. She was the goddess of many people. Unfortunately, these 3 sisters were all admirers of His Excellency. It was inevitable that many people would be sad knowing they had no chance. Yin Xinlian heard Yin Sulian's words and cast a cold glance at Yin Chujiu. Yin Chujiu could sense the emotions in Yin Xinlian's eyes. She was jealous. Why would Yin Xinlian be jealous of her? Sulian, what is this place? How can you just do as you please? Hurry up and apologize to Shopkeeper Qi. Yin Xinlian said coldly. Yin Sulian had been afraid of her sister since she was young. When she heard her words, she said to Shopkeeper Qi unwillingly, Shopkeeper Qi, I was angry just now and my words were a little rude. Please forgive me. Although Shopkeeper Qi was not happy in his heart, she had already lowered herself, so it was naturally not appropriate for him to say anything more. Thus he said, the 9th Miss has just arrived, so it is inevitable that she would be a little rash. For the sake of the palace mistress, let's put this matter behind us. What do you think, eldest Miss Yin? Yin Xinlian lightly nodded. Of course. The palace mistress is usually generous to us sisters, so we naturally have to give her face. This matter will be put to rest, and no one is allowed to mention it again in the future. Shopkeeper Qi thought to himself that the elder Miss Yin was indeed much more sensible than the second Miss Yin. This matter was finally resolved, and it was likely that the 9th Miss would not be able to enter the Tianyuan Academy either. When the time came, he would be able to hand her over to His Excellency, and he would not have to worry. Chapter 969. Was the Jade token defective? Thank you very much, Miss Yin. I will report this matter to the palace mistress truthfully. Farewell. Shopkeeper Chi gave Yin Chujiu a look after he finished speaking, indicating for her to leave with him. Yin Chujiu followed Shopkeeper Chi and left eagerly. Sister, are we going to let that bitch off just like that? She bullied me terribly. Yin Sulian stomped her feet and said angrily. I've already said that this matter ends here. You're not allowed to cause any more trouble for her. The entrance exam is going to be held in 3 days. Prepare well. If you fail the exam, Father will not forgive you when you return. I know. I'll definitely pass the exam. Yin Sulian said defiantly. Yin Xinlian looked at Yin Chujius back, and a trace of sternness flashed across her eyes. The daughter of the palace mistress' old friend? Brother Baiming? He addressed her rather amiably. The palace mistress had yet to decide on a suitable fiancé for her. Could it be that she was letting this trash be his fiancé? Yin Xinlian shook her head. It cannot be. How could the palace mistress take a fancy to such trash? It should only be a case of caring for the daughter of an old friend. Yin Chujiu, you better not have any thoughts that you should not have. Otherwise I will definitely kill you. Achoo. Achoo. Damn it. It must be that little bitch scolding me. Yin Chujiu sneezed twice and said fiercely. Shopkeeper Chi staggered. This little girl was too rude. No wonder the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy did not catch the eye of His Excellency. It turned out that His Excellency liked this sort of woman. Miss Jiu, the Yin family is quite powerful. You'd better not get into conflict with them in the future, Shopkeeper Chi advised. Yes. Shopkeeper Chi, don't worry. If they don't provoke me, I will not provoke them either. I have always valued harmony, Yin Chujiu said with a smile. Shopkeeper Chi's eyes twitched violently, although they had not known each other for a long time. This little girl did not seem to have any intention of maintaining harmony. She really could cause trouble. However, after the entrance test was over in 3 days, he would feel relaxed. Her group might not even make it past the first round. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. The entrance test for Tianyuan Academy had finally begun. Early in the morning, Yin Chujiu and the other 2 arrived at the square in front of Tianyuan Academy. The instructor in charge of the test briefly explained the rules. The first round of the test is very simple. 4 of you will be sent to a secret realm. The violet brocade grass will grow in the secret realm for 5 days. The score will be based on the amount of grass you have collected. The top 1,000 teams will move on to the second round of the test. The rest will be eliminated. Following the teacher's words, a purple spirit herb appeared on the huge display screen in the square. The details were also magnified so that everyone could understand the characteristics of the violet brocade grass. Now put the 4 of your registration Jade tokens together, and combine the 4 Jade tokens according to the hand seals I will teach you. After the teacher finished speaking, he demonstrated the hand seals. After everyone completed the hand seals according to his instruction, the 4 Jade tokens indeed became 1. At this time someone raised his hand and said, Teacher, are our Jade tokens defective? Why can't we combine them? The one who spoke was Yin Chujiu. She and Feng Ming had tried for a long time, but they still could not combine the 4 Jade tokens. They could only raise their hands and ask. The teacher frowned slightly. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. He looked at Yin Chujiu and the others. He suddenly came to a realization. Only those at the 3rd level of the spirit sect or above can use this hand seal technique. Your spiritual power is not high enough, so you did not succeed. Come over. I will help you put together the Jade tokens. Chapter 970. A team of idiots. Yin Chujiu ran to the bottom of the stage. The teacher raised his hand and the Jade token in Yin Chujiu's hand fell into the hands of the teacher. After forming a seal, the 4 Jade tokens were combined into 1, and a number appeared on it, which indicated the group number. When the teacher saw the number on it, the corner of his mouth twitched and he returned the Jade token to Yin Chujiu. After Yin Chujiu thanked him, she returned to the middle of the group. When she saw the number on the Jade plate, she could not help but curse in her heart. Damn it, this number was too unlucky. It was actually 250. Some people at the side saw it, and could not help but whisper to each other. This number matched well with this group. Trash matched with 250 was simply a perfect match. A team of idiots. It was laughable that 4 first-level spirit sect members would compete with them for admission. When you encounter danger inside, send your spiritual sense into the Jade token, and you will be sent out. However, once you are sent out ahead of time, your grades will be set to 0. In addition, there is a forbidden area in the secret realm that no one is allowed to enter. If you decide to go there, you will bear the consequences yourselves. The time has come. The teleportation array will be activated immediately. As soon as the teacher finished speaking, a white light flashed in front of everyone's eyes. When they opened their eyes again, the scene in front of them had already changed. They were already in the valley. Look. Violet brocade grass. Someone pointed at a place not far away and said in surprise. Sure enough, there was a small patch of violet brocade grass not far away. Everyone immediately swarmed over. Chujiu stretched her neck and looked, motioning for Feng Ming and the other 2 to follow her. Junior sister little Jiu, why don't we go pick the violet brocade grass? Gungi asked, puzzled. There are only a few hundred violet brocade grass in total. How can we compete with them? We'd better stay away from them because they might rob us in the end. Chujiu touched her chin and said. Feng Ming and the other 2 nodded. Junior sister little Jiu's worry was well-founded. If they wanted to rob us, we really weren't a match for any group. Therefore, Chujiu and the other 3 ran wildly, until they felt that there was enough distance between them and the other groups. Only then did they start to look for the violet brocade grass. They did not know if they had chosen the wrong direction. On the first day, Chujiu and the other 3 ended up empty-handed. The next day, they still could not find anything. Ha ha ha. Everyone, look. That group of idiots still did not manage to pick a single violet brocade grass. They are really idiots. I know that group. It's that useless group. The 4 of them all ascended from the Azure Mystic continent. They are all only at the first level of the spirit sect. No wonder. You can understand why just from that. These 4 people overestimated themselves. Even if we were born and raised in the Tianyuan continent, only 1 in 10,000 can be admitted into the Tianyuan Academy. It is simply wishful thinking for the 4 of them to still want to enter the Tianyuan Academy. That's right. I bet that they either couldn't defeat the guardian beast of the violet brocade grass, or they were robbed by someone else. This might be the first time in Tianyuan Academy's 10,000-year history that we see a team get a score of 0. It's embarrassing. Shopkeeper Chi's old face was slightly red as he stood at the side. He had said that these 4 people were not of the same caliber, and were not that old either. It would have been better if they had obediently cultivated for a few more years before applying for the examination. Now it was really embarrassing. Even their palace mistress was embarrassed. Inside the secret realm, Chujiu and the other 3 were also worried about their situation. Junior sister little Jiu, it's already the 3rd day. If we still can't find any violet brocade grass, we will be eliminated. Feng Ming frowned. He had been perplexed. Why was there not a single violet brocade grass around? Chapter 971. Repeated lightning strikes. Chujiu felt that something was off. How could there not be a single one? Could it be that she had chosen the wrong direction, and that violet brocade grass did not grow at this place? Let's go back and see if we can find any elsewhere. Chujiu decided to look in another direction. 2 hours later, they encountered the other cultivators one after another. When some teams saw Chujiu and the other 3, their eyes immediately revealed a greedy light. Some people surrounded them and said, "Hand over the violet brocade grass that you have gathered. Otherwise, don't blame us for any accidents that may happen to you." Chujiu shook off her storage bag with a bitter face. There was nothing inside. "We haven't found any. If you don't believe me, you can check for yourself. We didn't pick a single one. Ha ha ha. You guys are really a useless group. Then wouldn't their results be 0? Ha ha ha, this is so funny. How pitiful. Do you want us to give some to you? Otherwise, your score would be 0. The faces of Feng Ming and the other 2 turned red. They had never been ridiculed to that extent before. Chujiu glanced at them. Only then did the 3 of them suppress their anger and keep silent. Chujiu said indifferently, "1 is not enough. Since you are so kind, then give us all your violet brocade grass. Humph! In your dreams. Let's go. After that person said that, the four of them were about to leave. Unexpectedly, Chujiu was like a ghost. She suddenly moved forward and slapped the disciple who held the storage bag. The disciple sensed the movement behind him and quickly dodged. When he saw that the person who attacked him was Chujiu, he could not help but become angry out of humiliation. You stinky girl. You dare try to rob us? You overestimate yourself. I'm giving him a taste of his own medicine. Don't worry, after I rob you, I'll give you some violet brocade grass. Senior brother Fengming, I'll leave the other three to you. Chujiu said coldly. Fuck. You're overestimating yourself. Brothers, cripple them. The man said as he attacked Chujiu. The man formed a seal with both hands, and was about to use his spiritual power to attack her. Chujiu's eyes flashed with a faint light. Forming a seal? Lets you form a seal while I electrocute you. Chujiu waved her left and right hands repeatedly, and several purple lightning bolts struck the man. The man was instantly dumbfounded. Fuck. What was that? How could a person shoot lightning from their hands? Was that purple lightning? The man desperately dodged Chujiu's attack, and quickly formed a seal. Finally, several wind blades flew towards Chujiu. Chujiu had learned from her experience in the flaming desert, and she felt that the attack was too weak. After she dodged, she struck at the man again. The man saw that there was no interval between Chujiu's lightning bolt attacks. He felt like crying in his heart. How was this possible? It was fine if she did not form a seal, but why could she repeatedly attack without pause? This did not make sense. Chujiu did not care whether it made sense or not. She struck at the man. The man noticed a burnt smell. It turned out that his hair had been struck by lightning. The man quickly rolled on the ground and extinguished the flame on his head. Chujiu kicked the man and transferred the violet brocade grass from his storage bag into her storage bag. At that time, Fengming and the other two also had the upper hand. The cultivators of the Tianyuan continent lived relatively comfortable lives. The concentration of spiritual power here was much higher than that of the Azure mystic continent. Therefore, although their level of spiritual power was higher than Fengming's group, their actual combat experience and mastery were inferior. Chapter 972. The robbers had become the robbed Fengming, and the other two had been holding back for a long time. They beat the three people until they begged for mercy. They really could not understand what had happened. They were all at the third level of the spirit sect. How could they not be able to beat those three trash who were only at the first level of the spirit sect? Here, it was agreed that I would give you some as pity. Keep it well. Otherwise, you'll get 0 points. Chujiu picked the smallest violet brocade grass and threw it on the ground. Then she led Fengming and the other two away. The four of them wanted to cry, but they had no tears. The robbers had become the robbed instead. Chujiu mumbled as she walked. It's still faster to rob others after all. Now, we have more than 50 violet brocade grass. It's a pity that there aren't many weak groups like them. We can barely deal with the third level of the spirit sect. If they were all at the fourth level of the spirit sect, we wouldn't be able to defeat them. Fengming and the other two were still drunk from their joy of success. They had not expected that they would be able to challenge a cultivator at a higher level than them, and even defeat them. They were not that useless after all. Chujiu's words immediately made them sober up. Only a small number of people who came to participate in the test were at the third layer of the spirit sect. Most of them were at the fourth layer of the spirit sect or above, and even those were still the weakest of the entire bunch. Junior sister Little Gio, then what should we do next? We'll find somewhere with fewer people around. Perhaps we'll be able to get some unexpected gains. Since they could not compete with others, they could only find other ways to get ahead. Just as the four of them were about to leave, they heard someone say arrogantly, "Stinky girl, stop right there." Chujiu raised her head and looked in the direction of the voice. It was a narrow road between several enemies. The person who spoke was Yin Xuecheng. The other three people's spiritual power level should be higher than the previous group they encountered. She could not tell if they were at the fourth or fifth level of the spirit sect. Stinky girl, hand over the violet brocade grass in your storage bag, then kowtow to me and admit your guilt. I will be merciful and spare you. Otherwise, I will deal with you right here. Yin Zicheng's eyes revealed a perverted light. Previously, he had restrained himself a little at the academy's entrance, but now he had completely exposed his true nature. Yin Chujiu estimated the strength of both sides. Although her side was slightly weaker, she had caught them off guard, so she should still have a chance of winning. Therefore, Yin Chujiu's hand behind her back made a hand gesture, and Feng Ming and the other two understood. They quietly began to move behind the four people. Yin Chujiu's face revealed an extremely angry expression. Yin Xuecheng, you're shameless. What right do you have to rob us of our violet brocade grass? Che, what are you pretending for? Didn't you get your violet brocade grass through robbery as well? Hurry up and hand it over, or I will use force. You're so delicate and tender. If you get hurt, it won't be as good. Yin Xuecheng laughed with malicious intent. The other three also laughed. From their point of view, although Yin Chujiu had dodged more than a dozen attacks from Yin Sulian, that did not mean anything. Yin Sulian's spiritual power was enhanced by eating pills, so it made her look more powerful, but in reality, she was useless. They were different, not to mention the other three with Yin Chujiu were seen as trash. When the time came, they could take down this little girl in a 2-on-1 fight. Yin Chujiu suddenly smiled and said to Yin Xuecheng, "All right, a wise man submits to uncontrollable circumstances. Come here, I'll give you the storage bag." Yin Xuecheng was instantly dazzled by Yin Chujiu's smile. He smiled lewdly and said, "That's right. You should comply with me. I won't mistreat you. I'll buy you a house in Vigour City. From now on, you can live there peacefully. When I'm on my break, I can accompany you." Chapter 973. Never be a man for the rest of your life. Just as Yin Zicheng's words left his mouth, Yin Chujiu raised her right hand, and a purple lightning bolt suddenly flew toward Yin Xuecheng. At that moment, Yin Zicheng's mind was filled with all kinds of confusing thoughts. Who would have thought that Yin Chujiu would make a move? Previously, the four people only told Yin Xuecheng that they had been robbed. They did not tell him that Yin Chujiu had a special spirit root. They also had their schemes and deliberately let the two groups of people fight. Yin Xuecheng was struck by Yin Chujiu's lightning. His hair immediately burned, and he let out a pig-like squeal. At the same time, Feng Ming and the other two also attacked the other three people. Yin Chujiu knew that Feng Ming and the other two were no match for their opponents, so she had to finish off Yin Xuecheng quickly. Yin Xuecheng was putting the flame on his hair with his hand when Yin Chujiu struck at him again with several lightning bolts. He kept desperately dodging. "Stupid girl, how dare you hurt me? I will not forgive you. I will sell you to Itsue Tower, where 1,000 men will dash." Yin Chujiu kicked him to the ground and hit the back of his neck. After transferring the violet brocade grass in his storage bag to hers, a faint light flashed in her eyes and she hit a few acupuncture points on his body. "Humph, how dare you have such thoughts of me? You'll never be a man for the rest of your life." After Yin Chujiu finished dealing with Yin Xuecheng, she joined Feng Ming and the others in the battle. The three of them already had the upper hand, but Feng Ming and the other two were tenacious and refused to retreat. Even if they wanted to help Yin Xuecheng, they could not, as they watched helplessly as Yin Chujiu transferred the violet brocade grass into her storage bag. Once Yin Chujiu joined in, the situation immediately changed. The main reason was that Yin Chujiu's lightning was too strange. She did not need to form seals, and there was no interval between her throwing lightning bolts. Other people needed to pause between attacks, but she did not, which gave her a great advantage. When the three saw that Yin Xuecheng was lay on the ground like a dead pig, and their violet brocade grass had been snatched, they immediately lost their fighting spirit. They shouted, "We admit defeat, we admit defeat. Since you guys have taken the violet brocade grass, spare us." Yin Chujiu did not want to tangle with them any longer. She waved her hand and said, "Let's go." The three men saw that Yin Chujiu and the others had left, so they went forward to wake up Yin Xuecheng. Yin Xuecheng was only knocked unconscious by Yin Chujiu, and he woke up shortly after. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth and said, "Let's go find Sulian and urge her to help us take revenge." But our violet brocade grass has been taken by Yin Chujiu and the others. What if we are eliminated by then? Humph. Let's go rob another group. We'll ally with Yin Sulian. She'll give us something no matter what. It'll be enough for us to advance. Although Yin Xueqing was lustful, his intelligence was much higher than Yin Sulian's. Therefore, the four of them got up and went to look for Yin Sulian. Coincidentally, Yin Sulian was active in this area. Soon the two groups of people met. Sister Sulian, you have to help me make a decision. Yin Zicheng's nose was full of snot and tears as he complained. Yin Sulian stepped back in disgust. Cousin, where's your hair? It was that Yin Chujiu. That wretched girl has a heavenly thunder root spirit. No wonder the palace mistress took her seriously. She deliberately burnt off my hair, saying that she wanted to teach you a lesson. She also said that your heavenly Thunderbolt sword can't be compared to her heavenly thunder root spirit. It's just a piece of trash. Yin Xueqing added some embellishments to the story. He knew his cousin the best. She did not like anyone stronger than her. She would definitely go and find trouble with Yin Chujiu. Chapter 974. Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit versus Heavenly Thunderbolt Sword. As expected, when Yin Sulian heard that Yin Chujiu had a Heavenly Thunder Root Spirit, she was instantly filled with jealousy and hatred. It was said that the cultivation speed of one with a Heavenly Spirit root was extremely fast. If she allowed that bitch to advance, she would be able to suppress her own growth. She had to get rid of that bitch. No one in this secret realm could stop her. It was just the right time to kill her. Cousin, how dare she bully you again and again? This is outrageous. You lead the way, and I'll help you take revenge. Thank you, Sister Sulian. I knew you were the pride of our Yin family. You're really generous. Besides, Yin Chujiu has taken all of our violet brocade grass. Can you help me get some? Otherwise, we'll be eliminated. Yin Xueqing said while licking his face. Yin Sulian pursed her lips. After I kill her, won't the violet brocade grass in her storage bag be yours? Yin Xueqing slapped his thigh and said fawningly, Yes, you're right. Yin Chujiu, who was hated by both of them, was now the prime target. Sure enough, it's better to rob others after all. We now have over 200 violet brocade grass. It seems that this Yin Xueqing has robbed many people. Why don't we go and find more victims? The corners of Feng Ming and the other two's eyes twitched. That time, they had only won by sheer luck. If Yin Xueqing attacked again, they would not be so lucky. Just as the four of them chatted and laughed, they heard Yin Zicheng's arrogant shout from afar. Yin Chujiu, your time of death has come. Yin Chujiu turned her head and decisively made a decision. Run. Yin Chujiu thought to herself, it would be difficult for us to fight one-on-one, let alone one-on-two. Escape was also a viable strategy in situations like this. Yin Chujiu and the other three ran while Yin Sulian and the other three chased after them. Yin Xueqing cursed as he chased after them. Damn girl. Do you think you'll escape after stealing my violet brocade grass? I'll kill you. Yin Chujiu could not be bothered with him and ran forward with all her might. Yin Chujiu had a lot of pillaged violet brocade grass in her storage bag. It was enough for them to enter the second round, so Yin Sulian chased after them relentlessly. This was a great opportunity to kill Yin Chujiu, and she could not let it go to waste. Yin Chujiu and the other three ran all the way. Suddenly, a stone tablet appeared in front of them. There were two bright red words written on it. Forbidden Area. Yin Chujiu and the other three had no choice but to stop. Before they entered the secret realm, the teacher had especially emphasized that this forbidden area was extremely dangerous, and they must not step into it. At that time, Yin Sulian and the others had also caught up. Yin Xueqing sneered and said, Run! Run! I want to see where you will run to this time. Hand over the violet brocade grass, and then kneel and kowtow to me. Otherwise, I will kill all of you. Yin Chujiu glanced at Yin Sulian. Yin Sulian, you've learned from your mistakes. You were instigated by Yin Xueqing last time. Are you going to be used as a tool again? Yin Sulian summoned the heavenly Thunderbolt sword. She sneered. Yin Chujiu, don't try to sow discord between us with your lies. You've made me suffer a loss. I won't let you off today. I heard that you have a heavenly thunder root spirit. Let's see whether your heavenly thunder root spirit or my heavenly thunderbolt sword is stronger." After saying that, Sulian's heavenly thunderbolt sword flew up and conjured a bolt of lightning toward Chujiu. Chujiu dodged and then waved her hand, and a purple lightning bolt struck at Sulian. Sulian was shocked when she saw the purple lightning. Seeing it in person was different from hearing others talk about it. Seeing Chujiu's abnormal spiritual power attack with her own eyes made her even more jealous. She could not let Chujiu live, otherwise, she would become a thorn in her side sooner or later. Chapter 975. Under siege, Sulian could not multitask. While commanding the heavenly thunderbolt sword, she could not use wind blades at the same time, so it was not difficult for Chujiu to deal with her. What further upset Sulian was that the heavenly thunderbolt sword's lightning was much slower than normal. It seemed to be a little afraid of Chujiu. She put away the heavenly thunderbolt sword and used wind blades to attack Chujiu. Chujiu had already tested her strength before, so she was not afraid of her at all. She was angry at the same time. Sulian, you idiot. How can you be so blind to who's the real enemy? I think it won't be long before the head of the family changes. 5th level of the spirit sect? What a joke. Your weak spiritual power is almost the same as my 1st level of the spirit sect. Sulian, be careful or your sister will tell on you. In my opinion, compared to your sister, you are not just a little bit inferior. One is an angel, the other is a demon. One is a genius, and the other is a fool. Ha ha ha. Sulian was almost driven mad with anger. Ever since she was young, she had been used to further accentuate Xinlian's excellence. When Chujiu said that, how could she take it anymore? She attacked Chujiu like crazy. Chujiu wanted to anger her so that she could take the opportunity to find her weakness. As expected, as Sulian grew more furious, she became more reckless. Chujiu saw the opportunity and struck Sulian's left arm with a bolt of lightning. Sulian screamed in pain and shouted in exasperation. "What are you all standing there for? Let's attack together and kill them. I will bear the consequences." When the others heard that, they began to attack Chujiu and the other 3. Chujiu was still able to handle her opponent with ease, but Feng Ming and the other 2 were having a lot of trouble. They could not even fight one-on-one, let alone one-on-2. Chujiu was about to summon 5 immortal swords to finish off the 2 people in front of her, when she heard Feng Ming cry out in alarm. Chujiu looked out of the corner of her eye and saw that Feng Ming had disappeared. Xueqing laughed out loud. That trash actually retreated into the forbidden area by accident. He's dead for sure. Ha ha ha. It turned out that during the fight, Feng Ming was repeatedly forced to retreat. He stepped into the forbidden area without paying attention. Gang Yi and Shi Xian looked at Chujiu anxiously. Chujiu gritted her teeth. Let's enter the forbidden area together and save senior brother Feng Ming. Xueqing laughed so hard that tears were about to come out. Stinky girl, do you think that the forbidden area is an inn or a restaurant? You still want to save him? If you go in, you'll die in there too. Sulian did not speak. She wished that Chujiu would take the initiative to enter the forbidden area. If that was the case, she would definitely die in there. It was exactly what she wanted. Chujiu ignored them and brought Shi Xian and Gang Yi into the forbidden area. Almost at the same time, on the display screen outside Tianyuan Academy, the words Group 250 turned gray. Immediately, someone noticed that, and immediately, a commotion broke out. Heavens, how did that Group 250 turn gray? Could it be that all 4 of them are dead? That can't be. The level of the demon beasts in the secret realm isn't that high. Moreover, even if they were to encounter danger, they could still send their spiritual sense into the Jade token, and they would be teleported out. No one has ever died in any of the tests. How would they? I guess those 4 people really are useless. They forgot that they could use the Jade plate to escape. This is the consequence of overestimating themselves. These 4 useless people from the Azure Mystic continent couldn't enter the Tianyuan Academy after all. Chapter 976. The forbidden area shopkeeper Chi felt a buzzing sound in his head. Little girl, why didn't you take it one step at a time? Did you really die in there? If you died, His Excellency would be furious. Shopkeeper Chi did not dare to hide the truth, and quickly told Enfeng about what had happened. Unexpectedly, Enfeng replied, "Don't worry, the 9th miss will be fine." Shopkeeper Chi felt that Enfeng's brain was most likely damaged. What did he mean by definitely fine? Their group name had already turned gray, and he was still so carefree? No, he had to inform the palace mistress immediately. Shopkeeper Chi quickly reported the matter to the palace mistress. He did not expect the palace mistress' reply to be even simpler. It was just 2 words. Got it. Shopkeeper Chi was confused. Why were they all so calm? How would he know that the palace mistress was so happy when she heard that Chujiu was dead? Why would she be worried? The palace mistress thought to herself, this time it was not her fault. Chujiu was the one who brought trouble upon herself. Baiming could not blame her. Baiming had also received a message from Enfeng. Although he was also very worried, he felt that Chujiu would not be in danger because she had gone through similar incidents. However, he still could not completely relax. He decided to take a flying spirit tool and head to Tianyuan Academy. At the same time, the higher-ups of the Tianyuan Academy also heard the news. Although they were very surprised, the entrance test was voluntary. If they had not yet entered the institute, they would not be considered as students of the Tianyuan Academy. Even if they died, it had nothing to do with the Tianyuan Academy. Therefore, they just sighed and left things as they were. Chujiu did not know about the commotion outside the secret realm. After she brought Gung Yi and Shi Xian into the forbidden area, she found that this place was no different from the outside. It was just a valley. However, she found that she could not find the way out. She thought that this place should be an array formation like before. Senior brother Fengming? Senior brother Fengming? Junior sister Little Jiao. I knew that you would not abandon me. Fengming ran over from afar. When he saw Chujiu and the other 2, his heart was moved beyond words. The 4 of them started to look for a way out. After half a day, there was no progress at all. As the sky gradually turned dark, the 4 of them decided to rest for the night first. The next morning, everyone had their breakfast. Chujiu said, "Let's take a look inside. Since this place is called a forbidden area, either something is locked up here or there is something good hidden here. Let's take a look first. Maybe we can find something to help us escape." Fengming and the other 2 were used to listening to Chujiu's plans, so they followed Chujiu inside without any objections. After walking for more than half a day, they had not found anything unusual. Moreover, the 4 of them had some unexpected gains. Because no one had entered this place for many years, the violet brocade grass was everywhere. The 4 of them did not even bother to pick more in the end. The violet brocade grass that they had found now was enough to propel them up the ranks. Chujiu discovered a problem. "Senior brothers, have you noticed? There isn't a single demon beast here. There are only some spirit bees and spirit butterflies. It's really strange." "Junior sister Little Jiao, do you think there is a monster locked here? Maybe those demonic beasts been eaten by it?" Fengming looked around vigilantly, his voice slightly trembling. "Whether it's a monster or something else, we only have a chance to get out if we find it. I reckon that once that thing dies, this formation will automatically break. Other than that, I'm afraid we have no other way to get out." Chujiu sighed and said. Chapter 977. Sleepwalking. Fengming and the other 2 did not object, and they continued to walk further inside. Chujiu tried to use the sound transmission talisman and the chopping board, but they would not activate. It seemed that this place was the same as the other arrays she was in before. Talisman seals and flying spirit tools were forbidden there. The 4 searched for an entire day, but still found nothing. This place was so big that it was boundless. The 4 walked for an entire day, but they still could not cover the entire area. "Junior sister Little Jiao, tomorrow is the last day of the test. If we don't get out soon, I'm afraid we won't be able to enter the second round." Gung Yi sighed and said, "Don't give up until the last moment. We will be able to get out in time. Trust me." Yin Chujiu said confidently. She was not confident at all, but to keep Feng Ming and the other two's spirits up, she could only pretend to believe in her plan. When Feng Ming and the other two saw Yin Chujiu's confident smile, they felt much more at ease. Whenever they were in a desperate situation, junior sister Little Jiu would think of a way out. This time, her plan would work too. Junior sister Little Jiu, why don't you try cursing the heavenly lightning? See if you can split this formation apart? Feng Ming thought for a moment and said, that won't do. First of all, this is a formation within another formation. Moreover, it's a forbidden area. I'm afraid that we won't be able to summon the heavenly lightning. Second, if we shut down the array prematurely, it would be terrible if we let something monstrous out. Third, and most importantly, if we summon the heavenly lightning, this secret realm would be destroyed. If we cause such a huge disaster, I'm afraid that the Tianyuan Academy would not accept us. When Feng Ming and the other two heard that, they were immediately discouraged. Seeing that, Yin Chujiu said, don't worry. Let's rest well for the night. We'll continue looking for clues tomorrow. At midnight, Yin Chujiu was sleeping soundly. Suddenly, a sharp pain came from her dantian, and she woke up immediately. Just as she was about to use her spiritual sense to check the situation in her dantian, she strangely saw Feng Ming and the other two walking forward stiffly, as if they were sleepwalking. Yin Chujiu blinked her eyes. What was going on? Sleepwalking? Or was there something making them do that? Yin Chujiu imitated Feng Ming and the other two, jumping behind them like a vampire. She almost laughed out loud. She looked like a zombie. The black bead in her dantian shook contemptuously. Is this really the time? This stupid girl still had the mood to play. She was really careless. Yin Chujiu followed the three, and kept jumping forward. When her legs were sore from jumping, she found that a cave had appeared out of thin air. It seemingly appeared out of thin air. During the day, Yin Chujiu and the other two had searched here. There was nothing but flat grassland. Yin Chujiu followed Feng Ming and the other two and jumped into the cave. She tried her best to make her eyes seem empty and blank, so that she would not be exposed. Feng Ming and the other two suddenly stopped in their tracks. Yin Chujiu also quickly stood still. There was only a tiny bit of moonlight shining into the cave. Other than Feng Ming and the other two who were close to each other, she could not see anything else. The ground in this cave was very flat. It should have been artificially dug. It seemed that there was something locked in here. Feng Ming and the other two suddenly collapsed to the ground. Yin Chujiu quickly followed suit and collapsed to the ground. However, she opened a small gap in her eyes. She carefully peeked. Yin Chujiu heard the sound of chains approach. As the cave was too dark, it was impossible to see what was coming. Yin Chujiu did not care, and felt that the thing was not far away from Feng Ming. She suddenly jumped up and hurled several bolts of lightning at the thing. Chapter 978. The nightmare beast. A burnt smell and a miserable scream came from further in the cave. Yin Chujiu saw a monster covered in black fur that was chained by 6 huge chains. Yin Chujiu took out the illuminating pearl and lit it up. She then realized that it was an extremely ferocious-looking monster. It had 4 eyes, and they had vertical pupils that looked like reptile eyes. The monster laughed strangely. So it's a little kid with heavenly thunder root spirit. I haven't met anyone with a heavenly root spirit for so many years. I didn't expect one to come to me voluntarily today. I'm afraid I want to see how different someone with a heavenly spirit root is from an ordinary person. You can speak human language? What strange thing exactly are you? Yin Chujiu blinked her eyes and asked curiously. So rude. I am not a strange thing. You are the strange thing. The monster roared. Good. Good. You and your whole family are not strange things. Yin Chujiu said with a smile. Then she jumped in front of Feng Ming and the others and kicked them out of the cave one by one. After the monster found out what Yin Chujiu had done, its 4 eyes showed a disdainful look. Little girl, your little tricks are useless against me. Do you know what I am? What are you? I am the nightmare beast. Those 3 people have already entered the dream that I created. Things will only end one way for them. And that is death. Gahahaha. The nightmare beast let out a strange laugh. Nightmare beast? A dream? Then why don't I just wake them up? Yin Chujiu asked in an innocent expression. Pifty, if it was that easy to wake them up, I wouldn't be called a nightmare beast anymore. The nightmare beast said proudly. Yin Chujiu's eyes flashed with a hint of seriousness. The best way to wake them up is to kill you. As long as you die, they will wake up themselves. Gahaha, gahaha. The nightmare beast kept laughing strangely as if he had heard something funny. He said, Little girl, you are really stupid. I was born from the greed of humans. I am immortal. Otherwise, why do you think they only trapped me here and didn't kill me? Because they tried and couldn't. They couldn't kill you? Then why did you scream when I struck you with heavenly lightning? Yin Chujiu felt that the nightmare beast must be bluffing. There was no such thing as an immortal in this world. Humph. Although I can't die, my senses are still there. The heavenly lightning is extremely strong, and it can indeed cause some damage to me. However, despite the pain, it won't threaten my life. Yin Chujiu thought to herself that this nightmare beast was really stupid. It unwittingly answered all the questions she wanted to ask. How would she know that the nightmare beast had been trapped here for tens of thousands of years? It was not easy for it to find someone who could talk, so it naturally wanted to brag. Moreover, it thought that Yin Chujiu would not be able to escape from its palm, so it did not bother to raise its guard against her at all. Yin Chujiu rolled her eyes. Nightmare beast, if you let us go, I'll give you 100 demonic beasts. You can take turns to let them have fun in their dreams. The nightmare beast curled its lips in disdain. What's the point of torturing demonic beasts? Other than eating, it only knows how to mate. Only torturing people is interesting. People's dreams are colorful, they are far more interesting. Yin Chujiu thought to herself, you're a fucking sadist. The people who are tormented by you will exhaust their spiritual sense and die. If you don't let them go, I'll use lightning to strike you. Although I can't kill you, I'll make you suffer. Yin Chujiu raised her hand and threw several purple lightning bolts at the nightmare beast. Chapter 979. Speaking plainly, the nightmare beast screams and the smell of burnt fur filled the cave. Stop it, or I'll kill the three of them. The nightmare beast regretted being so rude just now. Hey, who do you think you're threatening? Wake them up first, or I'll cut you into pieces and make you run around naked. You like to pry into other people's privacy? I'll turn you completely naked today. The nightmare beast did not expect that Yin Chujiu would not be afraid of him. It began to form seals and invaded her spiritual sense, wanting to make Yin Chujiu fall into a dream as well. Unfortunately, even after using all its strength, it did not succeed. Instead, it was beaten up by the many weapon spirits in Yin Chujiu's spiritual sense. There was also a small version of the stinky girl who struck it repeatedly with the heavenly lightning. The nightmare beast sadly withdrew from Yin Chujiu's spiritual sense. It knew that it would most likely meet its end today. Yin Chujiu struck nightmare beast repeatedly. After a short while, the nightmare beast admitted defeat. Although it was not afraid of being hacked by knives and axes, the heavenly lightning was unbearable for the nightmare beast. Moreover, its fur was almost completely burnt off. It was too embarrassing. Smelly girl. Stop. I'll wake them up. Nightmare beast cried out in pain. Hearing the nightmare beast's words, Yin Chujiu stopped her assault. Why didn't you do this earlier? Why did you have to let me strike you repeatedly before admitting defeat? You asked for a beating. The nightmare beast's heart was on the verge of collapse. It thought back to the time when it was a ferocious beast that shook the entire Tianyuan continent. No matter how powerful those cultivators were, they could not do anything to it. It only needed to use a little trick to make them fall into a dream. Even if they used a formation to trap it later, they could not harm it. Who would have thought that it would encounter such a little monster? It was a heavenly thunder root spirit. It was strange. The heavenly thunder root spirit users should have been wiped out by Tian Dao long ago. Why would they let her run around here? What are you thinking about? You're not weaving a dream for yourself, are you? Quickly wake her up, or I'll continue to strike you. Yin Chujiu said fiercely. Only then did the nightmare beast come back to its senses. It retracted the nightmares that had entered the divine senses of Feng Ming, and the other two. Only then did the three slowly wake up. The three of them opened their eyes and discovered that they were outside a cave. For a moment, they were a little dumbfounded. It was not until they heard Chujiu's voice from inside the cave that the three of them ran into the cave. When they saw Nightmare Beast, they were shocked. What kind of monster was this? It had 4 vertical slitted pupils, yet the fur on its body was curled up like a poodle with curly fur. How could they have known that its fur was originally straight? They had been turned curly by Chujiu's lightning strikes. The three of them did not dare to ask any more questions. They stood beside Chujiu and looked at Nightmare Beast. Humph. 3 little weaklings, I'll let you off today for the sake of the little girl. The Nightmare Beast decided to try and maintain its reputation as a fierce beast in front of Feng Ming and the other two. Cut the crap. How do we get out of here? Said Chujiu fiercely. She was never used to show-offs regardless of what they were. Nightmare Beast immediately became timid and said in a flattering manner, I'll send you out. However, don't mention what happened here when you get out. I really can't afford to let others see me like this. Don't worry. This is a forbidden area. It was not right for us to come in here in the first place. Of course, we won't say anything about you either. Chujiu curled her lips. No one else could groom such a good-looking beast. The 4 eyes of the Nightmare Beast blinked and said shyly, Little girl, I can see that your bones are clear and strange, and your roots are excellent. Chujiu curled her lips. Speak plainly. Chapter 980. Curly Hair. The Nightmare Beast almost choked on his words. She was the only one who could talk to him like that. He had killed all the others. He endured the embarrassment. Little girl. In short, you will have a bright future. When that time comes, can you let me go? Nightmare Beast said while licking his lips. Let you go? Let you go and continue to harm others? Chujiu pursed her lips. This Nightmare Beast was indeed not very smart. You can't say that. Isn't there a saying that if you kill an evil person, you save others? I will only target evil people. Besides, it's also okay to let people have nightmares and fear you. Nightmare Beast blinked its 4 eyes. It said pitifully, What you said makes some sense, but who can guarantee that you'll do as you say? If you get out and went back to your old ways, who would control you? Chujiu felt that what Nightmare Beast said was not unreasonable. However, once such a powerful being was released, it would be difficult to restrain it. You. I'm most afraid of you. Nightmare Beast said ingratiatingly. Chujiu curled her lips. Forget it. You're trapped here now, so I can easily strike you. If you regain your freedom and run faster than a rabbit, how would I do the same? I can swear on my inner demon oath. I will obey you for the rest of my life. Nightmare Beast said pitifully. Oh, then swear on your inner demon oath. I, Nightmare Beast, swear on this. I will obey you from now on. Nightmare Beast realized that he did not know Chujiu's name. Chujiu. I will obey Chujiu from now on. If I violate this oath, I will be struck by lightning every day. Nightmare Beast said seriously. Outside the cave, there was a sound of thunder. It was obvious that the inner demon oath had taken effect. Nightmare Beast suddenly realized what had happened. What the fuck? It had been led into doing this by the little girl. She had not agreed to save it at all. Why did it swear the inner demon oath? Feng Ming and the other 2 were also dumbfounded. They did not know whether it was this Nightmare Beast that was too stupid or junior sister Little Jiu that was too smart. How did it trick the Nightmare Beast into swearing an inner demon oath? It even swore to listen to junior sister Little Jiu's words in the future. Could it be that it was looking for a beating of its own accord? The Nightmare Beast was filled with regret. Originally, it wanted to trick the little girl into agreeing to save it in the future. But now, before it could do anything, it had already dug itself a deep hole. Could it be that it had been locked up for a long time and had become stupid? Chujiu immediately smiled with curved eyes. Curly Hair, I didn't expect you to be so eager to follow me. Don't worry, I'm a kind person. If there's a chance in the future, I'll let you out. Curly Hair. Nightmare Beast was so angry that it wanted to bang its head against the wall. My curly hair was originally straight and long, alright. You were the one who turned it curly. It was all your fault. You dare call me curly hair. How could a majestic beast be called such a vulgar name? However, Nightmare Beast only dared to think about these words in his heart. The inner demon oath was already in effect. If Yin Chujiu told it to die now, it had to do it. Otherwise, it would attract the wrath of the heavenly lightning. Little fairy, to express my sincerity, I have already sworn the inner demon oath. You must save me in the future. Nightmare Beast said in a fawning manner. Curly hair, what can I do to save you? Yin Chujiu felt that it was not bad to have such a beast at her side. It was invincible on the outside. Whoever dared to provoke her, she would make him have nightmares every day. It would scare them to death. These chains are made of 10,000-year-old dark steel. Either you find the key, or find the divine god axe and break these 6 chains. Only then will I be able to escape. Chapter 981. The life of a beast is short. Yin Chujiu touched her chin. This nightmare beast was actually in the same situation as Brother Merman. It would have been awesome if she had the divine god axe at that moment. Unfortunately, even if she could find the divine god axe, she did not know where Brother Merman had ended up. Curly hair, don't worry. I will remember this when I get out of here. I will definitely release you in the future. You can stay here in peace for now. Oh right. Do you need me to leave some low-level demon beasts for you to play with? Nightmare Beast nodded. Leave anyone to play with me, demon beasts are fine too. Right now, I'm so bored that I spend all day practicing with spirit bees and spirit butterflies. It's a pity that they dream of nothing but nectar. It's so boring. Yin Chujiu retrieved a number of low-level demon beasts from the Great Void Mystic Realm. Those low-level demon beasts were intimidated by Yin Chujiu and the others, and all of them shivered the moment they left the Great Void Mystic Realm. After Yin Chujiu chased those low-level demonic beasts out of the cave, she said to the Nightmare Beast, Curly hair, send us out. The Nightmare Beast said reluctantly, Little fairy, the life of a beast is short. Please don't make me wait for too long. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm more anxious than you. With such an awesome subordinate like you, I can kill whoever I want. How awesome would that be? Yin Chujiu waved her little hands and said. The Nightmare Beast suddenly had a thought. I should just stay here obediently. Why does it feel that if I go out, I will become this little girl's lackey? Don't just stand there, hurry up. If we don't get out soon, we'll probably exceed the time limit. If I can't enter the Tianyuan Academy, how am I going to find the key for your release? Hurry up. Yin Chujiu urged impatiently. The Nightmare Beast regained his senses and quickly formed a seal. The array formation in this forbidden area was a piece of cake for him. However, were it not for the 10,000-year-old dark steel that held him, he would have left long ago. A white light flashed in front of Yin Chujiu and the other 3. When they opened their eyes again, they were already outside the forbidden area. Senior brothers, let's wait here. We don't want to run into other potential troublemakers. You guys look like you still need some rest. You guys can sleep for a while, or be on guard. Yin Chujiu looked at the sky. It was already the early morning of the 5th day of the first round of the test. In another 4 hours, they would be automatically teleported out. Feng Ming and the other 2 nodded in agreement. Although they had been awakened, their spiritual senses were still a little uncomfortable. Their heads were dizzy, and the 3 of them began to meditate and rest. At that moment, on the large display screen outside Tianyuan Academy, the name of Group 250 lit up once again. Moreover, their ranking soared to first place. What was even more terrifying was that the amount of violet brocade grass that they had gathered was more than 10 times more than the group in second place. The square instantly exploded with commotion. What was going on? Could it be that the display screen was broken? How could the Group 250 that was clearly already dead be revived? Moreover, it had soared to the first place. How was this possible? Shopkeeper Chi had heard that Beiming was coming today, so he had been waiting in the square for a long time. When he saw what was happening on the display screen, Feng's words suddenly popped up in his mind. He had said that the little girl would be fine. Could it be that the little girl had something special about her? Speaking of which, if there was nothing special about her, His Excellency would not have taken a fancy to her. While everyone discussed what had just happened, the examinees were sent out one after another. The first thing they did was to look at the screen. They were both happy and worried. Those ranked in the top 1,000 were naturally exceptionally happy, but those left behind were extremely disappointed. Chapter 982. Shot herself in the foot. Insulian was in the 18th group. She had thought that they would definitely win first place because of her group members. Even though her spiritual power was the lowest in her group, the other three were all at the 6th level of the spirit sect. Among all the examinees, they should have been the strongest group. What she had never expected was that there was a group that was ranked ahead of theirs, and it was that trash group. This was impossible. Those 4 trash should have died long ago after entering the forbidden area. Why did they not die, but instead, they ended up ranked ahead of them? That was impossible. Right at that moment, Chujiu and the rest were also teleported out. Insulian immediately walked in front of Chujiu. Chujiu, you cheated. Insulian's words immediately caused a commotion, and everyone's gaze was focused on her. Chujiu glanced at Insulian and laughed lightly. Cheating? Why do you say so? Are you questioning the fairness of the Tianyuan Academy's assessment? If you think that I cheated, just go ahead and report it to the teacher. Don't cause a commotion here. You wait. I'll go and report it to the teacher right now. You must be cheating. How can you have more violet brocade grass than us? This is impossible. Insulian said angrily. Oh, so it's because we have more than you that you think we are cheating? Are you the only one who can get first place? I'm sorry. I didn't know there was such a rule. If you had told me earlier, I would have picked less. After all, your family is so powerful. I'm so afraid of offending you. Chujiu said exaggeratedly. Insulian was so angry that her face turned red. Chujiu, you're spouting nonsense. How could 4 trash from the Azure Mystic continent find so much violet brocade grass? You must have used some underhanded means. Insulian, don't spout lies you cannot prove. It's fine if you have evidence, but if you're just jealous of me, you're just being petty. It's despicable to slander others like that. Chujiu said with a sneer. The 4 of you were forced into the forbidden area by us. How could you possibly pick so many violet brocade grasses? Insulian was forced to speak the truth by Chujiu's aggressive tone. The faces of the 3 people in her group instantly turned pale. That idiot. Although Tianyuan Academy did not explicitly prohibit examinees from robbing, it was still frowned upon. Moreover, they knew that there was a forbidden area, yet they still forced people into it. Was that not looking for trouble? Insulian also regretted it after she realized what she had just shot herself in the foot. However, since it was already out in the open, there was no room for her to go back on her words. Although we were in the wrong, the crime of Chujiu and the other 3 people entering the forbidden area privately was even more serious. Moreover, they might be able to prove that the violet brocade grass had been obtained through underhanded means. Insulian, is what you said true? Chujiu and the other 3 people entered the forbidden area? The teacher who was in charge of the test walked over. That's right, I saw the 4 of them enter the forbidden area with my own eyes. Teacher, they must have cheated. Insulian said angrily. When Xinlian, who had just rushed over, heard Insulian's words, she was so angry that her head hurt. You idiot. There were 100 ways to kill this Chujiu, but you just had to use the stupidest method. You are so stupid that there was no cure. Xinlian regretted not rushing over earlier. When she heard that Beiming was coming over, she meticulously groomed herself, so she was a little late. She did not expect Insulian to use such a dirty trick during the assessment. Chapter 983. The popular pretty boy, Chujiu. Did the 4 of you really enter the forbidden area? The teacher stared at Chujiu and asked. Trespassing into the forbidden area was no small matter, so they had to question her as well. Chujiu had a few thoughts in her mind, but she still admitted it. Yes, one of our team members accidentally stepped into the forbidden area when they were robbed by Insulian and Xuecheng. To save our companion, the 3 of us also followed them into the forbidden area. The teacher carefully sized up Yin Chujiu. This little girl was quite sharp-tongued. Her few sentences not only explained the process clearly, but also showed that they had entered by mistake. Moreover, they were forced in by Yin Sulian and Yin Xuecheng. In that case, what did you see in the forbidden area? And how did you get out? The teacher stared at Yin Chujiu's expression. The inside of the forbidden area is just a valley. It's no different from the one outside. It's just that there was not a single demonic beast in there. After we entered, we felt very tired, so we slept for 2 days and 2 nights. Then we came out inexplicably. Yin Chujiu's face revealed a puzzled expression at the right time. Feng Ming and the other 2 were also veterans of acting. They did not learn anything else from Yin Chujiu, but their ability to lie and act grew. The expressions on their faces were the same as Yin Chujiu's. They also looked equally puzzled and confused. Alright, let's put this matter aside for now. You will enter the second round of the test 3 days later as usual. The instructor did not know what exactly happened in the forbidden area. When he heard Yin Chujiu and the other 3's report, he was not sure for a moment, so he decided to report it to the higher-ups of the academy. Yin Sulian still wanted to say something, but when Yin Xinlian pulled her arm, she decided to just keep quiet. Yin Chujiu jumped in front of Shopkeeper Qi and giggled. Shopkeeper Qi, are you here to support us? How was it? Our performance was not bad, right? After that incident, Shopkeeper Qi felt that this little girl seemed to be really carefree despite the situation she was just in. Perhaps she really had some special ability. It was better for him to be polite, thus he said respectfully, Miss Jiu, your talent is indeed amazing. Congratulations on entering the second round of the test with the first place result. Just as Yin Chujiu was about to pretend to be humble, she saw a flying spiritual device flying over from afar. That flying spiritual device looked very familiar. Damn, wasn't that the pretty boy's flying spiritual device? Didn't I tell him that I wanted to hide our relationship for the time being? Did he come to visit me because he couldn't bear the pain of longing for me? Sigh, I am too charming. There is no other way. The pretty boy couldn't keep his hands off me. Just as she daydreamed about herself, she heard the people in the square explode from excitement. Regardless of gender or age, they were all equally delighted. Oh my God! It's His Excellency's flying spirit tool. It must be His Excellency. I'm going to see His Excellency soon. I'm so happy that I'm going to faint. Get lost. You're a man, why would you faint? If anyone will faint, it's us girls. Your Excellency, I miss you so much. If His Excellency can smile at me, even if I die today, I will be happy. Sigh. We can only take a few glances from afar. His Excellency does not allow others to get within 3 feet of him. Don't even think about it. His Excellency's fiancée is one of the 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy. Others definitely won't have a chance. Yin Chujiu instantly exploded in anger. Fuck. She did not expect the pretty boy to be so popular. There were even men who coveted him. She had too many rivals in love. Chapter 984. Stay away from me. Look, Qin Mingzhu and Bai Liyan are here as well. Together with Yin Xinlian, there's bound to be fireworks. These 3 people don't see eye to eye with each other. They will soon fall out over who gets to be His Excellency's fiancé. Sigh, some people will die from overeating while others will starve to death. Many girls like such an outstanding person like you, Your Excellency. There isn't anyone left for the rest of us. Forget it. How can you compare to Your Excellency? Whether it's your family background, appearance or spiritual power, how can you be compared to His Excellency? Yin Chujiu overheard that what the others were saying. 3 beauties of Tianyuan Academy? Beauties? Humph. You guys are destined to not be able to compete with me. I have already stamped and certified my ownership of the gigolo. None of you have a chance. If she was not too weak now, she would have announced to the world that the pretty boy was hers no matter what. All of you fuck off. However, now that she was the daughter of the palace mistress' old friend, she could use it as an excuse to get close to the pretty boy. She did not want him to be seduced by those vixens. Just as Yin Chujiu was secretly exploring her imagination, Di Baiming's flying spirit tool landed. As soon as Di Biming got off the flying spirit tool, everyone in the square immediately greeted him. Greetings, Your Excellency. Di Biming waved his hand and gestured for everyone to stop greeting him. Although the Hall of Longevity had not unified the Tianyuan continent, the Hall of Longevity was still highly respected. Di Biming's had a high standing in everyone's hearts. Oh my God! Your Excellency has become even more charming. Quick, help me up, I can't take it anymore, I'm going to faint. At first, Your Excellency and young Master Wuji's looks were on par, but now it seems Your Excellency is more charming. If only I could be closer to Your Excellency, then I would die of happiness. Your Excellency, it seems like you're looking for someone? You must be looking for one of the three beauties. Looks like he finally has a candidate for his fiancée. Qin Mingzhu, Bai Liyan and Yin Xinlian thought the same. The three of them looked at each other, their eyes full of ire for each other. The three of them walked towards Di Biming. The onlookers quickly made way for the three of them. Mingzhu greets you, Your Excellency. It has been a long time. How has Your Excellency been? Qin Mingzhu was the first to speak. Yin Chujiu evaluated Qin Mingzhu from amongst the crowd. Qin Mingzhu was the only daughter of the sect leader of Fundamental Sect. It was said that she walked a dignified and generous path, and her reputation had always been good. However, she was too shameless to get close to him. She did not even want to use her surname. Mingzhu? I think it's more like a dead fish's eyeballs. Di Biming hummed lightly, but did not say anything. Yin Xinlian looked at Qin Mingzhu with disdain, then she bowed. Xinlian greets Your Excellency. A few days ago, the palace mistress asked Xinlian to help her find a prescription. Xinlian has already found it. Why don't I pass the prescription to Your Excellency now? Yin Chujiu pursed her lips. This Yin Xinlian was smart. She used the palace mistress as an excuse. Once the pretty boy took the prescription, she would take the opportunity to tell him some things to take note of. Then wouldn't she hook up with him? She was shameless. Yin Xinlian looked at Di Biming with anticipation. It was an idea that she thought of last night. As long as there was a chance to get close to Your Excellency, she did not believe that he would not be moved by her. She would definitely become the new palace mistress. Di Biming said coldly, just give the prescription to shopkeeper Qi. Also, the fragrance on your body is too strong. Stay away from me. You're tuning in to the Lime's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.